Thunder in the spirit of Crazy Horse. He's back. It was in Arizona. More on that later. The day I came back from Arizona, I think it was Friday the 13th, I heard about this Paris thing. First of all, let's look at the big picture here and let's think out loud and let's take things in a big picture manner, in a coherently thinking manner. First of all, Friday the 13th, hello, 9/11, Friday the 13th. Get that correlation there. Both of them kind of a freaky day, freaky situation. 9/11 emergency, Friday the 13th, bad luck day. Did they plan it that way? You have to look at the whole big picture here, people, and see what's going on. Now, this thing is just like they use the same principles that they use with 9/11, and I've talked about before with the shock doctrine. The shock doctrine is cause an event, put people in shock, and while they're in shock, take actions that the people wouldn't normally allow. Okay? That's what's going on here. Okay, now you can debate all day long about whether there's ISIL terrorists in Paris and making these attacks and who the ISIL terrorists are and where they came from and all this good shit. But whether this attack was a false flag or whether it wasn't, it doesn't matter because they're going to use it as a false flag anyway. Now, when I say false flag, does that mean people don't get killed? I've said this before. People get killed. There's a lot of questions about this whole thing. The same questions that have arisen before, like passports showing up. What kind of terrorist? Okay, if I was a terrorist, I wouldn't take my passport with me. That's a no-brainer. I mean, if you were going to commit a terrorist act, would you, let's make sure I got my ID with me. Let's see, I got my credit cards and my passport, and I'll make sure that they're in pristine condition. Even though I blew myself up, I know that passport's going to remain in pristine condition with no blood on it. And people, think out loud about this. Think reason about it. Now, who has the most to gain by something like this? And again, it's like a mini 9/11. Okay, they're doing the same thing that they did on 9/11. They got a picture of the Eiffel Tower as a peace sign, and they got, even YouTube has red, white, and blue in honor of the people in Paris. And the people in Paris are totally freaked out, and they have them in lockdown, and they got the borders closed, and there's police storming. It's basically like martial law. They got public places closed down. People are freaked, just like right after 9/11. And all these leaders now, they're at the G20 summit with Putin there, and all of a sudden they're all like, we have to unite against terrorism, and we have to all go into Syria now. Hello? Like I say, who has the most to gain here? Well, let's see. Let's think out loud about this. Putin, previous to this incident, Putin declared war on terrorism and ISIL and went into Syria and kept everybody else out with his jamming devices so that he could take care of business and go in and kick some ass on ISIL, who we know are the proxy army. There's no doubt about it. They're the proxy army of the West who were trying to go in there and destabilize things to overthrow Assad. Now, who has the most to gain now by this whole incident? Well, the West. the West. Because now it's like they're going to do what Putin has been trying to get them to do all along, and that is join forces to fight the terrorists. He knew they wouldn't, but now this is a huge deceptive maneuver. It's a huge deceptive maneuver, and I'll tell you why. They're gonna move to go in. This gives them a way to bypass Russia's jamming devices and say, hey, we need to go in there to Syria and fight with you against the terrorists. Russia's doing a perfectly fine job. They don't need all these other asshole lunkheads like Cameron saying he's going to send planes in and the French sending planes in. It's just a way to get in and confuse the issue. Don't you see that? I hope you do. It's like when the U.S. was sending in, dropping weapons to the supposed Free Syrian Army, which they weren't. So this is just a way to impregnate the line or bypass the line that Putin set up. It's a tit for tat thing. It's a huge chessboard maneuver. Now, does Putin see what's going on here? Well, I hope so. Does he see that this is all just a big phony? All of a sudden now we all got to join hands and sing Kumbaya and fight the friggin' terrorists? Hello? They said they were doing that anyway, didn't they? Didn't the coalition of the West say they were fighting the terrorists anyway? But now this is to confuse the issue. This is to cause shock and awe in the citizenry of both Paris and the United States and everybody around the world. Now, I hope you fucking see through this. I'm a little irritated because my trip didn't turn out so well. But I'll get over it. This is just another way to maneuver people to sway public opinion, to go to war, to make this thing bigger. Okay. I have serious doubts about some of the imagery that I've seen with this thing in Paris. Like, for instance, there was a girl hanging out a window. Okay, that supposedly was at this Baklava or whatever the nightclub was. They showed all these people running out. One guy was hopping on one foot like he'd been shot. One girl was hanging from a window. Now that girl, if you were a normal girl that was hanging from a window like that, how long do you think you could hold on? How long do you think you could hold on? I mean, she almost looked like a goddamn athlete. She hung on that windowsill for over 15 minutes. How many people can do that? How many people are in shape enough to hang off of... and then she got pulled back up, I guess. There wasn't as much blood as you would expect to see with a situation like this. And a lot of the stuff has been hidden from our view. And I'm sure that people got killed there. I'm sure that terrorists went in there. And when I say terrorists, I don't mean Islamic terrorists. It could have just as well been a planned operation by the Mossad and the CIA and in cooperation with the French intelligence agencies to create an event. And yes, kill innocent people. They always kill innocent people. You think they have a problem with killing innocent people? They did it at 9/11, killed 3,000 of them. So this is nothing. 100 people, 120 people to serve their purposes of like to get into, to maybe go into Syria and screw the pooch and screw that thing all up in there to blur the lines, blur the vision, reinstill fear in the terrorists, the word terrorist, when the real terrorists are the ones that are behind the scenes manipulating all this shit. You think this stuff isn't manipulated? I got some swampland down in Florida for you. It's manipulated. And people go, but there's terrorists and they kill people. Well, the terrorists that were created in Syria to overthrow Assad are CIA operatives, coupled with Hollywood images. It's real, people. This is PsyOps 101. This is Ultra K mind control. This is all real easy for them to set up this stuff. Real friggin' easy. They just hire some people and they hire a hit squad, or they put in, they put a hit squad in there and they leave some passports, they throw them down. Just like the passport that fell out of the airplane at 9/11 from one of the hijackers, through all that mess, and it was found by who? An FBI agent, and it was in pristine condition. I'm really getting sick of this shit, and I'm getting sick of people buying it. They forget so easily. Little incident happens, and even RT and alternative media are buying into, yeah, it's a terrorist attack. Well, it's a terrorist attack, yeah, because the terrorists are guys that were paid killer mercenaries to go in and slaughter some people at a friggin' rock concert and blow up a bomb at a stadium. Big deal. And then the whole world's going to get freaked out and cry and hold up peace signs with the Eiffel Tower on it, and YouTube's posting, or Google's posting a black ribbon, and they're all, people are like, hello? Did they do this for other people that get killed? Yeah, like the people that get killed in Israel, blown up in a bus, or the people that get some people that might have got killed on that airplane that just went down, or do they see this? This doesn't make sense if you think out loud about it and you reason. Why wasn't a big deal made about all these the 40 people that just got blown up in Beirut, or the 324 or 224 people that were on the Russian airliner, or some other supposed quote-unquote terrorist attack? Why wasn't a big deal made out of that then, about those people in that country? Why wasn't a big deal made why wasn't there a big uproar and a welling of tears and all that bullshit for the Russian people who just lost all those 300 people who the U.S. says, yeah, that was a bomb? Well, if they think it was a bomb, what's the difference? 300 people on an airliner. Now, all of a sudden, just because 120 people die in a planned assassination of citizens of France, people are all going to get up in arms? No, what they should get up in arms about is open your friggin' eyes and see why this shit happened and what the agenda is with it. Hello? What's the agenda? The agenda is to destabilize, to continue on destabilizing the Middle East and the Syrian section, and to continue on with Assad's got to go, and to continue on confusing the situation by putting in more aircraft and more troops and ramping up like, oh yeah, we really care about terrorism now. And they've always said they cared about it. It's a joke. They see what Russia did. They see that Russia made decisive moves. This is all a plan against Russia. It's all a plan by the West against Russia. And if Russia doesn't see this, then God help them. God help us all, because they've been the only saving grace by really going in and really taking out bad guys, CIA guys posing as terrorists, terrorists posing as terrorists, mercenaries posing as terrorists. This terrorist thing, this boogeyman, the big boogeyman terrorist thing has gotten way out of control, people. It's like a massive mafia hit squad. It's like you took a bunch of guys, and it's like a mafia hit squad. Thousands of guys. You hired thousands of guys and named them ISIL or Daesh or some other bullshit name. But it's still the perpetuation of terrorism as a boogeyman and as a fear tactic. What are people doing in Paris right now? Running around the streets like chickens with their heads cut off in fear. And the people over here are looking at it like, well, what's going on, you know? And it's the same tactics over the MK Ultra, psycho, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, all the same tactics over and over and over again, and these friggin' idiots keep falling for it over and over and over again. Wake up! The whole terrorist thing is bullshit. The real terrorists are the governments that are manipulating and causing this shit and planting evidence and blowing up people and killing people in the name of the terrorist boogeyman. God, I just can't believe people are so stupid to keep buying into the same ridiculous false flag events over and over and over again. Look at 9/11. For God's sake, that was a planned job. Hello? Just like everything else, all these other things you see, half of them are planned or manipulated or what's coming next? Now, this G20 summit meeting where everybody's meeting, and it showed Obama sitting there talking to Putin, and they're leaning over and they got their interpreters, and Susan Rice sitting there and all that bullshit, and then they're talking real intense. You think they're friends? No. You think that the West really likes Putin, or any of these people really like Putin? No, this is a planned job to destabilize Putin, even to maybe suck Putin into thinking that, hey, yeah, we're on your side now. But see, he has advisors, and he's not freaking stupid. We'll see how it plays out. But this G20 thing is a circus. It's a sideshow. All these people running around saying all this shit. And see, the stuff they say at the summit and the stuff that they say, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. They speak with a forked friggin' tongue. Okay? One minute they're saying, oh yeah, we got to join hands, sing Kumbaya, and fight the terrorists. And then the next minute they're still saying, yeah, but Assad can't stay in there. And see, so you know what their agenda is. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. I don't see Russia talking out of both sides of their mouth right now, or Lavrov, or any of them. For purposes of not looking like bad guys, sure, they'll go along and say, yeah, we got to fight the terrorists. We've always said that. But this is a clusterfuck. And I'm really getting pissed off that people buy into this shit over and over and over again and don't call their government or their leaders on it. Call them on it. To allow these governments to perpetuate homicide and murder of innocent civilians, to complete an agenda, is unthinkable. It's uncalled for. It's not acceptable. And yet you people stand out there, you people, well, whoever, if you believe this shit, and you let them do it over and over again. Even the alternative media's kind of, get sucked into, the Paris attack. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? It's an isolated incident that they've blown all out of proportion and that they staged, that they set up, or that they killed innocent people over. And what you should really be saying is, look what the governments are doing again. Look what the governments are doing again. They're manipulating people. They're killing innocent people for an agenda. And that agenda is greed and money and oil and gold and control and power. You get it? Get my drift here? This is just par for the course. Business as usual. Nothing special to me. I'm not going to run around crying and weeping for a bunch of people that got killed. What about the people in the airliner? What about the people that were blown up in Beirut? Like, there's been 3 or 4 terrorist incidents that have been building up to this. And when did it all happen? Right after Putin went into Syria. Right after Russia went into Syria. Figure this one out if you can. Right after the West has egg all over their face because they weren't fighting the terrorists and they got blown out of that whole situation. In fact, all the coalition got blown out of that whole situation. So put 2 and 2 together. They got together and said, yeah, we got shown up for the asses that we are. So what do we do now? Well, we create a new terrorist threat. And we act like we're gonna throw in with Putin when really we're not throwing in with Putin. We're going in there to destabilize it more and to confuse the situation. Pretty simple. As a strategist, you just figure this stuff out. Hey, I just got back from Arizona, and as most of you know, I went over there to rent an apartment, and they really screwed me over. Good thing I went over there on a recon mission. To the members of the Campfire Council and all those who donated, I still have that, and it's going in a kitty, and I'm going to leave it there until a situation improves, or I might go to Vegas now, I don't know. But I'm not going to worry about it. I thank everybody for the efforts that they've... I'm kind of pissed off, really, about the whole thing. I got ripped off. I went over there. I had an apartment that was supposed to be ready for me in pristine condition. I got over there, and it was a rat trap. It was dirty. It was filthy. It was unbelievable. It was like walking into a East Side LA ghetto. Shit all torn up. Wasn't even livable. And they tried to make me pay money to move in. And they wouldn't let me see the place till I paid the money. So I paid the money, and I went up there and I looked at the place and said, give me my money back. Right now. And they did. But I still blew a bunch of money getting over there to do the recon mission, and so I'm going to have to try to recoup that somehow, and blah, 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 blah. Just a sign of the times that people don't give a shit about other people. But I did get to go to Arizona on a train and walk around in the snow and visit the high country and watch the birds fly around, the hawks and the crows, and listen to the whistles of the locomotives going through the high country, and walking around talking to people and making friends and giving people my book. And I just said, well, you know what? I'm not going to cry over spilled milk while I'm here. I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to have some fucking fun. Excuse my French. I'm gonna have some fun, and I'm in my beloved state of Arizona, and I'm in the high country, and it was freezing cold there, by the way. I went from high temperatures in Southern California to like 17 degrees. It got down to with the wind chill factor, and I'm walking around. Good thing I brought some high country clothes, although they weren't that high country, but they had to do. I had on layers of clothing and, one of those windbreaker flow-filled vest things on, and a Levi jacket and my moccasins. Not really the kind of gear you wear in 17-degree temperature, but the hell with it. So I walked around and I talked to some people, and again I gave copies of my book to a few people, and talked to some natives up there, and some kindred soul natives. Talked to a little native girl, a Wallapai girl. Gave her my book. But the people that were renting me, that trying to do this apartment thing, really, they fucked me over. I know I'm using a lot of bad language today, sorry. People call it bad language. I just call it language that creates a new emphasis. Or sense stress, that's a word, a speaker's word, sense stress. You want to stress something with a sense of intensity. Well, you just use the word fuck or shit or whatever. Oh man, I'm to the point now where I got my fire going in the background. See it there, my fake fire on my laptop. Sounds just like a real fire. Thanks, Fozzie. He posted that. And it's a little chilly in San Diego now. That's good. I'm not done yet, people. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, I just have to shake my head. And I did get a letter back from those people. I threatened them with a lawsuit, and they said, that it was their fault. They admitted that it was their fault, the manager there. I hate to come down on people, but hey, you got to be responsible for your actions, okay? You got to be responsible for your actions. So anybody that's watching this campfire, I don't like to come down on people, especially an older couple that's managing, but I'm not a spring chicken myself, and to make that trek over there and to go through what I had to go through, and I twisted my back right before I left, and it was like, man, I had to do physical therapy just to get on the friggin' train. I'm okay now. Just to get over there was a major ordeal, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to get this apartment, and then I'm going to come back and move over there, and didn't work out. We'll see. Now I'm going to, for all of those of you who are interested in this, I'll just keep on a little going here and tell you more. I'm gonna contact the company, because I've been just dealing with the manager, but I'm gonna contact the company that they work for and make demands on my monetary loss of going over there and that whole expense and all that stuff. Now, will I get it? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll offer me another apartment somewhere else in Arizona. But I'm going to put the fear of God in them, the fear of Thunder God. Okay? I'm not vindictive. I'm just... I don't let people screw me over. I'm a warrior. I don't let people screw me over intended or unintended. And they knew, you know, if they didn't know, well, then it's time it's time for the people that did this to wake up and smell the coffee. And thunder's a brewing it on the campfire, okay? Anyway, that's my take today. I thought I'd do a video. Feeling kind of spunky and funky. But that's my take on the Paris thing. That's my take on it. It's all BS. You know, it's all manipulation. It's all a big game by the powers to be. And you can't even look at one country as a savior. I mean, you kind of can. I mean, you kind of can look at, yeah, this country's, that's the way I look at Russia and Putin right now. And I want to see how this is going to play out. I want to see what his reaction's going to be, because that'll tell me a lot. That'll tell me whether he's throwing in with them, or it's part of a whole New World Order conspiracy thing, or if we really are like in this like I think. Okay, my take is that we're in this heated match of power against power, spy against spy, terrorist against non-terrorists, and the terrorists aren't really terrorists. That's just a friggin' word. Terrorist. Terrorist is anybody that scares the hell out of people with violence. Okay, and who's scaring the hell out of everybody with violence right now? The people that are setting up and funding the terrorists. And who's funding the terrorists? Governments. Where do you think they get their money from? Where do you think they're selling their oil to? It's a no-brainer, people. I'm thinking it's time for the Star brothers and sisters to come down and kick some ass. The Wuya, we know that we're from the stars. Okay, I believe that firmly, and I know I am. We could all even be hybrids, okay? And there's somebody that's above all this bullshit, whether you want to call it God or aliens or star people or whatever. They're there. I feel them. I feel their presence. I felt it when I was in the high country next to the stars and next to the constellations, that I could see millions of stars in the skies from up there. They're there. Now it's just a matter of how this is all going to play out, isn't it? All right, I'm out of here. I shot off my mouth enough today. Just thought I'd do this video for all concerned. All right? It's Thunder. Take care, you guys. I really appreciate you all, and I really appreciate the members of the council. Adios.